Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Friday Night Rights. And it's great to have you. Unfortunately, Samantha and Evie will not be able to join us this weekend or this evening. Sam has been a little under the weather this week, and she has no voice, and therefore she cannot co-host with me this weekend. Evie is also away doing personal things, and I believe they will be back next week. But for now, it is myself and our guest of honor this evening. It is B. Williams, and she is the author. Oh well, yeah. I'll let you introduce yourself in just a minute. Just to I usually we do our little spiel where we all Sam, Evie, and I will go around and introduce ourselves and talk. Just
Yeah.
but since it's just me, I'll just I'll do like an abbreviated run through. I stacked all the books here, and my cameras are still inverted, but that's okay. Oh, I forgot to put this on full screen. There we go. So this is Core Memories. It's the spicy book, Friends with Benefits, little trauma, and a sweet glass of love to wash it all down. And where am I going to put these? I need places to put my stacks. And Eddie the Legend, the award-winning Baseball Broken Dreams Found Family Love to Fix It All. 2025 recommended reader ready award as per author shout. And Being Made, Rise and Fall Rockstar, fictitious memoir. Second chance. You think you've got it made, and then not so much. And I also have Sam and Evie's books here. I gotta throw these down here. Give me for the
Representing Brian.
yes. I'll do a brief little. This is Without You. This is the first book that I ever read from Samantha Moran, and this one is she gives out tissues at her events when she sells a book. They come with a little Kleenex package too because you might need them. And it's what you go through when you lose a loved one. This one, the only crying in this one is by the MC. This is Wicked Little Rabbit. This is when a succubus drives a man insane, and this is my favorite book, and a lot of people love it. And I'm making a mess here on the floor. That's okay. The Ruin. This is urban fantasy, Norse mythology, medical drama, a nice little social commentary on our medical system here, and begs the question: what would you do, and how far would you go to save the life of the one you love? And then we have these two: Feelings in the Dark, Bound and Betrayed, where Iroth is a manic. He goes from I want to play with you, and I want to eat you, and basically eviscerate you. And let's see, this one we don't need. And now we have Evie's book. This is Abyssal. Donovan's a dick. Leona, she has thick thighs and ends lives. And Unbalanced, this is where somebody wants to do naughty things with Hugh Jackman. That was the impetus behind that one. So that takes care of us. And now we have and she has a very lovely display here. Just so you can see it. The nice little advertising. Miss B Williams, take it away.
So you can just call me Brittany, Brian. It's
Okay,
fine. So this is the retrofit. It's the first in the sci-fi series. I'm gonna scoot it down for just a second so I can pull up beneath
sure.
it. I'm glad I'm not the only one that has proof copies for this, because that's what I keep at home is proof copies. And then this is Thin Ice, which is a novella in the same series. So the series follows Quinn and then Kira, who are it's always hard on these. Like you get caught up. You're like, man, it's so hard to talk about something because you know so much about it, and you can't give away too much whenever you're talking about it. But anyway, so the main series follows Quinn and Kira, and then every novella. So we have a main book, which will be a full novel, and then there will be a novella after the main book. So it'll be 1.0, which is this one, and then 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, so on and so forth. Well, the main novels, like I said, follow Quinn and Kira, who he comes in to retrofit her ship initially. They do not get along very well. They end up having to learn how to get along. And then once we get into the second novella, the first novella, which is the second book, then Ice, we follow Rick and Gila, who is the ship's security officer and then the ship's quartermaster. So because it is on a spaceship, we have a lot of crew, and I wanted a way to check in with them and to show like where they're at with everything, what they're doing, and because JJ not so much, but me, I like romance a lot, so I make JJ help me with. So it is a romantic series across the board. There is some action starting in this one. We get into that, but it's more about like the character development and how they get along. We like to show different qualities within our characters and explore different things. Therefore, with this one, Quinn is actually neurodivergent coded, um, which Katie in the comments says I love Quinn's development. She caught it first. She messaged me. She arc read for me, and she was like, "Hey, is Quinn like?" And I was like, "Yeah, he is." So, um, and then in the second book, we don't do anything with like any neurotypical things like that, but we do explore completely different personalities. We have like in this one, they're both kind of grumpy, but the second one, Rick is the grumpiest person, like so grumpy. And then Gila is the exact opposite. It's that grumpy sunshine trope that everybody likes. She calls people pet names and, thanks, Katie. Um, and everything. And she's really fun. I loved her because I live in the South, and you've always got that Southern woman that's like, oh, sugar and oh, honey and all that good stuff. And I wanted
Yeah.
that in here. I wanted that love and that tenderness that comes from that. So she represents that in the second one. So, and then I do have, moving on, I have this right here, which I'm very excited about. This is a series about a psychic detective and a werewolf partner, and we released this quite a few years ago. It was our first book that we ever released, actually. And when we went back and looked at reviews and looked at comments and got notes back from our editor, actually, with the third book, she was like, "Guys, this isn't what I think you're wanting to accomplish. It's not reading the way I think that you want it to read." So we actually decided to pull all three of them, and starting with the first one, we went through and changed the issues that we thought we had, dropping it down to pretty well a singular point of view. There's a few chapters from Brutus's point of view, which is the werewolf. And we're fixing to arc this. So we're excited to get it back out there. So I have arc signups available for this because it's going out next month. So
Nice.
that's me. That's a lot, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're
Oh,
good.
if you do like, I do have different covers for the hard covers for the retrofit, by the way, and for Thin Ice, and you get a bonus chapter in these. So
Yes. So that's and then you have
I feel like if you're gonna pay hardcover, you should get more. So we threw in a bonus chapter, which on the website that we have a website. It's mossandwolf.com. We will every time the next one of the series. So this is 1.0. When 2.0 releases, the chapter that was in the hardback for 1.0 will go on the website.
okay.
Just like when 2.5 releases, the chapter that was in the hardcover for 1.5 will release on the website.
Gotcha.
So,
Nice.
so I
Yeah.
want you to have it as
Yes, and
it's a bonus.
yeah, and we are doing a giveaway tonight for anybody down there. I believe that we have a book box available with the retrofit. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's got lots of very themed goodies. I worked really hard on putting these together, and when I first got on TikTok, I was like, "Oh, I can do that, right?" And then I didn't sell any, so I have quite a few left. But it's got quite a few themed stuff. Um, KD down there has actually seen it, so I know she knows what it looks like. So if you're
Yes.
curious, you can hop on over there. There's some opening videos.
Yeah, I noticed Katie is very excited to see you tonight. she,
She's she's she she proofreads for me. She edits things. She is the absolute best. Like when you ask for arc readers and you get those ones.
part time stalker as
Sorry,
well.
she said
That,
harder
that's what she.
stalker. Yeah,
Yeah, she is
when
good
you when
people.
you ask for when you ask for arc readers and then they go beyond just reviewing and they become friends, that's really something special. And Katie really has become a friend. We talk about other things. We used to send videos back and forth, and I really love her and I appreciate her being here. Love you.
That's awesome. Yeah,
So
I guess I guess maybe in some respects I'm like Samantha Moran's biggest fan. Like I kind of found her and just start yeah I read everything. I arc read. I'm like her cheerleader. So yeah we all need those people and and vice versa. She's one of my biggest cheerleaders and we've become good friends. So it is great to have that and Evie Black too. All three of us have become really great friends. Um, but yeah, so if you want a piece of the action here with the book box, I know KD might want. I'm sure she has everything, but maybe she wants to.
she can get that one.
you know,
Need
um,
several copies. She can give out the copy and keep the goodies.
yes. So you can drop the. So I said I think the emoji tonight is an ice cube, as in thin ice. So trying to go for a little bit of
Fantastic.
a so if you want the book box, drop an ice cube emoji down there in the comments. And I have to I didn't I didn't set up the wheel, so I think I'm gonna have to do this the old fashioned way, because I'm gonna have to start writing down. I knew I forgot something. There's always something. You remember 99 things and you forget one thing. So, all right, we're gonna do this the old-fashioned way with pen and paper, and I'm gonna have to put in all the names later on. So we have Katie times 3, and everybody else, you are more than welcome to join us as well. Drop the emojis, and we're gonna ask you, a couple times throughout the evening. We're going to take a brief pause and talk about the book, talk about the book box, let you drop those emojis down there because we reward you for sticking around. So, and now before we get to we basically have a list of set questions that we like to ask, but um, your case is somewhat unique in that you have a co-author, JJ White. Can you tell me how you met him and how you started working with him?
Um, so JJ is actually Canadian, so he's about as far away from me as I could pick for somebody to work with. But we forum wrote together. So I don't know if you used to like RPG games, things like that. We wrote on a forum for the longest time together, and we were doing this, and we wrote essentially what was Moss and Wolf. So sorry. So we're writing on a superhero website, and I was like, I didn't want to write superheroes. I was like, I wanted something different. So I was like, hey, I'm like, what if I do like a psychic detective, because it's like it is a superpower kind of like the way that I'm going to roll it in there. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, I'll do this werewolf character. I'm like, that's not a superhero either. So we were definitely not on point, on brand for where we were at. But we wrote back and forth, and essentially you write like one character at a time. Like I would write for Charlie, and he would write for Brutus, and he would move on. And then like if you had NPCs in there and non-characters, you would just throw them in. So essentially, like if I introduced a character, I had to control that character. So if I was doing a conversation between Charlie and another character for a while, it was just me writing by myself for a hot minute. Um, but we wrote that out, and we got to like the end. Like there was a solid end point. We're like, hey, we did a case on this. And he looked at me. He's like, Sandy's like, he calls me Sandy because my screen name on Discord is Grain of Sand. So
Right.
he calls me Sandy. So he said, Sandy, he's like, I think we wrote enough to be a book. And I was like, I think you're right. So that's when we decided we would turn it into a book from there. And we've been on Discord for a really long time together. And I think I've known him since 2013. So, but we
That's
started forum writing because I was like, hey, you guys know anybody fun to write with? And came together that way. So
that's cool. Yeah, and sometimes it's great when you find a collaboration that works. It's like a lot of times it's hard to like you want to do things. You have a certain vision and somebody else might have a different vision. It's I think it's great that you two are able to come together and collaborate and create something that like this.
yeah, it's a fun process. It's difficult to move things over and to make them cohesive, and that's what I think we faced problems with Moss and Wolf originally. Is we were trying so much to keep that on omniscient narrator where you could see both of them at the same time, and sometimes we were just like covering things too much because we would go back and Brutus would say something about what he felt, and then Charlie would be covering the same thing. But even if you're doing omniscient, you can't constantly be covering the same information back and forth constantly. So we're like, this is too much. So when we went back in, we're like, this has to be cut down, essentially. And I'm like, an omniscient narrator is just not popular in urban fantasy. It's not something that you see a lot. Like, because we do third person, so we can obviously jump from person to person because it's not in first. But we decided to go back and fix that because it just wasn't a popular thing at all.
Yeah.
So that's where we went. But when we started the retrofit, we wrote it out together, and then I knew it's like too many hands in the cookie jar, you know.
Yeah.
So when we went to edit it and put it together, I asked JJ, I was like, "Are you cool if I put this together? Because I think if we have one person doing it, we'll have a more cohesive voice." And I hope, and Katie might be able to back me on this, that it's pretty clear, you know. Um, I don't think it feels like it's two people. I feel like it is one author almost, but we do switch narrative POVs. So we have parts from Quinn's POV and then POV. You know what POV, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And then parts from Kira. So we do swap back and forth that way. You get those narrative chapters where you can see both points of view.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you, Katie. I hope you
I
would
think
think
those
so.
make for the most interesting stories too. It's like I like those the books when you get to see like one main character's perspective versus another, and as the story progresses, it's you get to see the whole picture. So
Yeah.
and we'll I know Katie wants to know about your favorite or your favorite and your least favorite characters. That's that um. So I think you said down here in the comments your favorite is Kira and your least favorite is West.
So I initially said Gabby. If you read, I don't think it's too spoilery to be like, Gabby is a lizard. She's actually a mechanical lizard, so that's the joke. Is that I like her best. I have lizards, so um, so Kira obviously is my favorite, and I actually have character art that I had done by Kelsey 2D on TikTok. She is
Nice.
absolutely fantastic. So once again, Kira, because that's my character. I wrote her. I enjoy her a lot. I think she's very headstrong, but she also manages to be compassionate. And I think one of my reviews actually, I know we're not supposed to look, okay? I know you're not supposed to look at your reviews, but I looked at one of them and they're like, Kira starts off so BA and is, you know, this and that and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, then she like just suddenly changes. And I'm like, no. I'm like, just because you have a BA character does not mean they can't exhibit compassion and understanding and realize that this person is not the way they are because they are the way they are because of trauma, because of this issue, and because of that issue. And that handling them differently is not backing down from being a strong character. It's being a strong character emotionally for somebody else. And then West is my least favorite character. Um, he's just sleazy,
Yeah,
just straight up sleazy. I don't know how to put it. I think
yeah.
he's
I mean,
sleazy.
I know it's hard to say which characters are the least favorite characters we write. It's like actually I think one of mine is I wrote somebody in Eddie the Legend who was kind of like a swarmy sleazy like one of those almost cartoonish type of antagonist. Like a it's just like it just felt right. But that when I look back and it's like yeah, he's like he's the guy that you want to punch him as soon as you see him on the page. But
Oh no, I love West. He's my least favorite character as far as like who he is as a character, but I love to write him. I have no problems writing him. I would love to for him to come back at some point in time, and I'm sure he probably will. Um, but like just least favorite as in like just crappy person.
yeah, I hear you. Yeah. So, um, so what we usually like to do is get when we start by talking about about you yourself. So why don't we tell us who is Brittany Williams? You know.
um, so I live in BFE, Missouri. Don't have a life. I have a young child who runs my entire life. Let's be fair. Um,
They often do.
I have watched all of Survivor, so I don't enjoy other reality TV, but I love Survivor. I like watching the challenges, and I think I like challenges in general. I am very competitive. When I play games with my family, I must come in first. I am not I am not a horrible loser. I'm not a bad loser, but I am a absolutely terrible winner. I will be like I will throw it in my family's like if I'm playing with like friends and people that don't know me, I will calm it down, okay? But like when I'm playing with family, it's on. I will throw it in their face. That will be the thing for the next 10 years. I will make sure that you know that I won. But I grew up with brothers, so I think if you have siblings, it's just kind of just I was the
Yeah,
youngest. It brings it out in you because you want to like beat them, and like when you're young, you don't ever beat them because they're older.
right.
So,
Yep, I
um,
understand where you're coming from with that.
but um, things about it. I love to write. I like escapism. I like to read. I am a mood reader, which does not work out in my favorite for book club because I have to be in the mood to read something. I will literally skip all of my TBR because I saw something on TikTok that struck my fancy. And it will start that instead right away. And it will finish it in one night. And then it will go 2 weeks without reading anything. And then I will read a book that takes 2 weeks. And then the next one may take me 2 days. It's really just
Yeah, it's
all
just
over the place. So,
yeah, like I said, whatever the mood strikes. So, I mean, what were what did you want to do when you grew up? Or did you always want to be an author, or did you have other things in mind as a child?
so I wanted to be a veterinarian first. Obviously, that didn't work out. But I think I always wanted to be a writer because even like in school, I was like making stories and doing things. There was a probably like fifth, sixth grade. We had to write a short story, and I was like, you had to draw your own cover and write a short story, and that was like just really, really fun to me. And I've been writing since I was 13. I used to, do you remember Yahoo Messenger?
Yahoo. Oh yes.
Uh, so were you on like the user rooms and things like that?
Yeah.
So I
Actually,
was right.
I was yeah when I was in college, I was in the MSN chat rooms. So, but yeah, well,
Oh, yeah.
I had Yahoo. I still have
Yeah.
I used to have a Yahoo email until like 10 years ago, and then I graduated to Gmail.
I still have a Yahoo email. I use that for everything, honestly. But yeah, I used to write on like the user rooms doing role play stuff on there when I was like 13. So I was a little bit more adult than things should have been at that time, but still.
Yeah. So, so you went from becoming a veterinarian. When did you start writing, and when did you know this was what you wanted to do?
Um, well, I mean, I started writing 10, 11, 13. I don't think that like I'll ever be, um, I think you could obviously professional. Um, but like I was never sure I was going to put out a book or anything like that. I just didn't have the ability to stay on track that long, I guess would be the way to put it. Like it's hard for me to stay on one topic for very long. So whenever I'm writing with like JJ, it's so much easier because we do discuss like the narrative and kind of the outline and where we're going. Sometimes he just pulls things out of his hat and we change things and like it's on the fly. So it's exciting because you don't know what he's going to come back with or what he's going to say all the time. So it makes it exciting for me. And that's why I co write, is because I'm not responsible for everything, which makes it really, really nice. Um, but it's easier to actually edit it together than it is to get it by myself. So that's when I was like, when I did the retrofit and I looked at it and I sent it to him, I was like, look, I think this is something we can be, not like we weren't proud of Moss and Wolf, but like I felt like narratively this read a lot better. And like this is when I thought, you know what, I think if we go back and we fix that and we bring it up to the caliber that we know we can do together, that we can really do something with this. So I don't think it will ever be a full-time position. Just because I don't have enough time. Like I said, I have a small child. I work. I have other obligations. So,
Right.
but if I could ever go viral,
You never know. I mean,
that would be great.
yeah. I mean, I think we all have that little dream in the back of our minds. Maybe, hopefully, someday. Now you mentioned like you don't really have too much time. Between when you're not writing, you're being a mom, and you have other family obligations.
Yeah.
I mean, what are I mean, when you do have time, what other hobbies do you partake in?
Um, I like to play video games actually. I like Fallout 4 a lot. I basically treat it like it's my own Sims game and make settlements all the time.
Nice.
Like I played it the first time and I didn't mod it and I just did all my settlements and it was so hard because I'm out here like collecting wire and like scrap pieces of like metal. Like you pick up like a wrench and you can use that for metal in your settlement to build things.
Hmm.
And I built ridiculous settlements and it was absolutely so hard. And then I started modding it where I had like building kits.
Hmm.
Got worse from there. Um, but I like to play video games. I like to read. Obviously, I do read on the side as well. I feel like if you're gonna write, you should also be reading. The bad thing is when I read like period drama, like historical novels, then I start writing like a historical like the dialogue starts getting heading that way. I don't know if you're like that.
I'm sorry. What was that last
Like
part?
man, I don't know if you're like that. If you've ever like read something and then started kind of like that influenced how you were writing at that moment.
Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes it's if I need to like, well, what did this character eat for breakfast? It's like, what did I eat for breakfast? Sometimes I just stick little pieces of myself. With you, it's probably not so simple being writing sci-fi. It's you're writing characters that are in another dimension, so probably doesn't apply to you can't say that they had Cheerios for breakfast or whatever.
They do have home cooked meals though, courtesy of Gila. So
Ah,
she does cook their meals for them, and I have. So that's a fun thing. Like doing the food on there, I was like, man, I'm like, do I just like say Earth dishes or do I have to come up with some bull crap? And sometimes it's like it resembles an Earth dish. It's the best I can do. I was like, it's kind of like a pot roast, but not.
gotcha.
I was like, that's bad. And I was doing something with Jake the other day, working on a new project with him just for funsies. And I was like, it was a white fluffy vegetable that had been boiled. He's like, you can just say mashed potatoes, Sandy. You can just say mashed potatoes. I was like, no, no.
Mashed potatoes are timeless, and everybody loves mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
So,
but he's like, you can just say that. And I was like, I did. I said it's a white fluffy vegetable.
hmm,
You give me so much crap for that. But yeah, it's a little different, but I do base I do base a lot of cures reactions off of my own and who I would like to be and how I think I would like to react. So that makes it easier. Um, and I actually did Gila. I use pet names a lot. Like so I worked on the ambulance for a really long time. And like one of the classes you take is like how to talk to the older population. And like one of the things is like they're not your sweetheart. And I'm like, everyone's my sweetheart is my problem. Because I will say hun and I will say sweetheart and I will every time. And it doesn't matter how old you are, it's coming out. And a lot of people don't like that. So I wrote Gila for me because everybody likes Katie likes Gila. I like Gila.
hmm,
The feedback for Gila was very good, even with the pet names.
yeah. Well, I think that's you mentioned you're from the South, and that might be a Southern thing.
it really,
Yeah,
it's
that
it's so bad.
that and the home cooking, perhaps.
That is Gila is basically my mom somewhat. I mean, honestly, she's my mom, just not the right color.
Gotcha.
So
It's funny how that happens. Even in other dimensions, you can put little bits and pieces of either yourself or people that you know in your books. And
I'm
a
so
lot of
excited
times
because when I get to do, I'm ramping up. I've got 2.0. The first draft is done, and I can't wait to get to 2.5 because it's going to be the ship's Doctor Bree. Who she is going to be really really fun. So
nice. So now obviously your time is limited, but like when you do you have any like projects or causes that you are passionate about? Like is there any particular charities or anything like that that are near and dear to you?
I mean, probably just like the Humane Society, things like that. I like animal. Obviously, I like animals a lot. I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Right.
Um, so I would say something more leaning towards that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No. I absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
not a whole lot in my area. I do a lot of like local charity stuff, so there's not like a whole lot that's really far out there. Like we have something called the Hope House near us, and the Hope House is like it's not an orphanage, but sometimes when like kids come into foster care, they can't immediately get placement just because there's just not a house available or something like that. So they go into the Hope House instead. So the Hope House takes like physical donations and like monetary donations. So I have a friend that actually works there, and she tells me kind of like what they need, and they post on Facebook like every week like what they need to have that week.
Right.
So actually, our local book club this month is getting them books. Excuse me, getting them books geared towards teens because they're not allowed to have internet. Um, so we're getting them some like YA books so they can put in the home to give them something to do, basically.
Gotcha.
So
No.
I mainly stick to like local things because that's where I live and work, and
Yeah. I'm starting to. Yeah. You need to have that footprint at home. And it's important. Especially. Yeah. I think that's something I need to do this year myself. Is I need to get back to going to my local bookstores and kind of you know introducing myself to people around in my own hometown. Like I've the past couple of years I've done all these out of state events and people know me on social media, but you know um, around here not so much. So I think that's one thing that's a goal of mine for this year is to kind of make myself a little bit more known around here. Um,
I get that. It's nice to be local. We're actually gonna do this fall. We're gonna go on a mission trip to Iceland, so I'm looking forward to that too. So
nice.
if I can get out of the country, I will.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. Yeah, the Katie.
I got to get my husband to travel somehow.
Yeah, yeah. Katie is very. Yeah, she says don't trust anybody with mashed potatoes. Oh, and yeah, yeah. It's hard to be known in New York. Actually, yeah. Samantha Moran is in our comments. How about that? Yeah, she's.
Yeah, so Miranda, I live in like a town of maybe a thousand, maybe a thousand. So
Yeah,
everybody knows everyone.
yeah. I think
Unfortunately,
I got the package from you a while back, and I looked at the town, and it was like yeah, it's like this. Missouri is like there's a little dot where there's like there's 2 hours to St. Louis, and it's 2 hours to Memphis, and it's like another few hours that way. It is in the kind of in the middle of nowhere.
it
But
is very small. We have a Dollar General, and we have our own grocery store, and I'm not sure how we swung that one. And two gas stations and a coffee shop,
gotcha.
and that is it. We used to have a Sonic, but it went out of business.
That is a shame. Yeah, I'm lucky we have the Sonic here. And it took me like 40 years to discover Sonic, and once I did, man, that's like I said, that's like my go-to. It's you know,
It's a money pit. Like,
it is. Yes, yes,
stay away.
and yes, and Sam is here in the comments, but as I said at the beginning, she has no voice, and she's been kind of under the weather this week, so she's resting, and as she says, she's here before the Nyquil kicks in.
It's just how much NyQuil is the question.
We'll know if she falls asleep on the keyboard or the iPad if we see like a Z X X X across the chat. Plenty.
Good funny. You can't down the whole bottle, Samantha.
No, I
This is
don't think
not. It's not.
no
It's not college. Don't be shy.
just
Okay.
just enough to do the trick. I think that's what we're going for. So um, Brittany, what are some of your favorite things? Like obviously, I would guess your favorite fast food would be Sonic. Um, we've talked about it a little bit. Like favorite foods, favorite seasons, things of that nature. Like what's on your favorites list?
I like fall. First of all, fall's my favorite because it's not hot and it's fixing to be cold, and I hate sweating. So
Oh yeah,
I like it when it's not. It's just sweater weather. So
sweater
anytime like
weather,
sweater weather is good for me.
sweater weather.
So um, other favorites. I like. I'm gonna be controversial here. I like pineapple on my pizza.
Oh,
Um, so I like ham and pineapple pizza. I don't like true Hawaiian, but I like the fake stuff and like cheesy bread, things like that. I love spending time with my daughter. Obviously, I do not like to play Paw Patrol as much as she does. I assure you that. Um,
imagine that.
Narrative wise, though, she has Bluey, and I don't know if you know what Bluey is, but when
I've
you
heard of
buy a
Bluey.
set of Bluey, yeah, when you buy a set of Bluey toys, you always get another Bluey. Like it is inevitable. So we have about like 10 Blueys, okay? So you have 10 of this little bitty dog character. So like one day we were playing with these little Blueys and I was doing like this thing. She kept putting them in the bus. And I was like, why are all the Bluey clones in the bus? And then like I did that scene where like, it's like which one of them is his real thing, like with the Bluey ones. And I was like, I'm the real Bluey. She's really getting into imaginative play. So I am stuck doing a lot of that. And it's fun. She doesn't always get what I'm doing, but she tries to gentle parent me, like gentle parent the characters, which is pretty funny. Because like they're talking about Muffin down to the comments. Muffin is this
Yes.
unhinged kid, like just this 3 year old that is on. She's a 3 year old, so she's on this tantrum all the time. And like I get to play Muffin a lot, which makes me excited because then I get to like
Yeah, that is apparently that's Jay Silverton's favorite.
yeah. So like they she grabs like one of the other characters and she's like Muffin. She's like take a deep breath, and I was like no.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it's
gonna have to start watching Bluey because I have a hard time. Let's see, I thought Bluey was the same as Blue's Clues, but apparently not. It's
no, it's such a good show, honestly, because it's about these two Australian kids and like their parents play with them and do things with them. It's I don't want to say like it's kind of healing actually. If you didn't have the best childhood, it's like what your parents should be like. So
right.
it's it's so good.
Nice. Yeah, I'll put that on my TBW, the Bluey. That and oh, what was another thing I was telling Evie Black the other day? That I had. Oh, that's right, Major Pain. That's like one of her favorite
Oh my
movies. We were for somehow
god!
we got into our favorite army movies, and I think I told her
Oh,
mine was Biloxi Blues, and she said hers was Major Pain. So
Major Pain is hilarious. Like the that is absolutely not how you should act towards kids.
no,
Oh god.
not
I
exactly.
remember it. I just remember him like getting on to that kid for like wearing like having underwear or something and like like when Sandman said, let me see your finger. When he breaks his finger, he's like, you don't feel your leg now, do you? It's so good.
Yeah, that's
I
so
made
so
my kid
that's
sister watch the mummy the other day. I was like, how have you not seen this? I'm like, these are like this is like classics. Like you need to see
I know that's what we were talking about. It's like the things that we've never seen. It's like people like I've never seen the Godfather movie. Believe it or not, it's like and I've never seen that. I've
Brian.
never seen Major Pain. It's I've never seen Bluey. So that's my homework for this weekend.
At least tell me you've seen the mummy, right?
Oh, of course, yes,
Okay, okay. A little better there.
yes,
I've seen like Castaway. Like, let me
yes.
start a list for
I have
you.
seen Castaway. Yes, and I like the Mummy Returns too because the Rock was in it.
Yeah, I like that one. The Scorpion King movie actually wasn't bad either. Now the third
Yeah,
Mummy,
yeah, no,
sorry.
not so much. Yeah, well, yeah, and the Scorpion King, it was basically it was a trailer like an hour and a half, 2 hours trailer for The Rock, but that's basically all it needed to be, you know.
It's fine. You know what you're getting when you see The Rock in it. You know you're getting a little bit of like not the greatest acting, but at least it's going to be fun. You know.
Right, right.
I agree with the comments, by the way. I am not that, but like was definitely on the road to that because of
Yeah.
that movie. Like
Hmm. I'm gonna
everybody
have to
in the
watch.
movie
I'm gonna have
is
to.
absolutely fine.
Hmm. The Mummy. I'm gonna have to rewatch the Mummy to see all of the reasons that I might question my own, preferences. What's a place that?
Honestly, like artist though, Artist Bay just
Yeah,
did it
I
like
suppose if the
Brendan
world,
Fraser.
listen, Brendan Fraser back in 2000 or whatever. Listen, if it, if he was the last man on Earth, I suppose I could. Just saying.
Oh, I didn't have
Anyway, we're
any issues. I would have taken Amotep. I would have taken the Artist Bay's character. I don't remember what it was, what he was in there. What his name was. Just anybody.
so.
And the comments apparently agree.
Yes, yes. For those of you on YouTube, I apologize. We can't show you all of the comments here unless I pull them up on our screen here. But um,
I know. So Samantha and Katie are in the comments saying, yes, this movie did make everybody question some things.
yes, absolutely.
Just let you know.
I can understand that. Yeah, and yeah. Between yes, Xena, Buffy, Charmed, yes, and
Xena had
mhm.
Carl Urban in a Cupid outfit there for a hot minute.
Yeah, well, Samantha kind of knows what I'm thinking when I write some of my female characters, and one of my female characters is kind of Xena esque, and like just like maybe a little bit more like China from WWE, what she used to be. Oh yeah,
You would like her.
that might suit me as well. Yes, so yeah, that
People kick
just
me
a
away
little
for no
hint on
reason.
what is Brian really like? Well, let's. Well,
Yeah.
eh,
Kira literally like would chuck somebody off the ship for absolutely no reason. She threatens to chuck people off the ship all the time.
yeah. Sam knows
She
too much
literally
about
meets Quinn and is like, when can I chuck him off my ship?
that. So
It did say forced proximity is kind of a choice um, on one person's part, and it's definitely not him. It's so
yeah, it
like
depends.
she's a
It's
big fan of
may not
annoying people for
may
no
not be a
reason.
bad thing depending on what you like. Um,
Oh, it turns out fine. It's
so
all good. Yeah.
trying to steer it back into the book realm. We're talking. But obviously we're we love certain forms of entertainment, and we also signature sonic. Oh, but before we get into things like your favorite 5-star read, Katie wants to know your favorite sonic drink, and I think you're gonna give her the answer down in the comments. Coke with vanilla,
It
cherry,
is.
and lime.
It's really good. It's very, very good.
Yes,
It's delicious.
I'm a lemonade person. I like my strawberry lemonade as well.
They do a good lemonade. Have you tried the lemonade slushies?
Yes.
Fantastic. My daughter likes those.
Mm. I like all kinds of slushies. Well, maybe not in the wintertime, but then again, maybe. Um, so yes, we're obviously readers as well. What is your favorite or your most recent 5-star read? Would you say?
Oh golly. If I would known you were gonna ask that, I would have went to like my Goodreads and like scrolled down or something. Oh, honestly. Oh, I know. So I actually just got done with the arc read, and I haven't rated it yet. I'm gonna get on there and finish that up. But it's called Embers of Fate by Danny Lowry, and it is a romantasy, and I am a everybody's a huge fan of romantasy at one point or another. Um, but it is a romantasy about a queen and her captain,
Aha.
um, the captain of her guard, and it is absolutely fantastic. It is a great adventure in like world building, and it's not a slow burn. It's a little bit faster than what I sometimes what I want. But they're so sweet together, and it's by the end of the first book, she sets it up so well for what's going to happen, and I am so mad because I'm pissed that I have to wait for book two, and I'm an alpha reader, and she's still not letting me have it. And I'm like, give me this. I'm like, hand it to me.
Nice.
I need it. Um, but absolutely, just gorgeous. It's really emotional, really moving. There's some scenes in there that I was emotional about, and I was like, man, I'm like, you want to make this even worse? Do this. So, and I love that. So,
Nice.
but
So,
she is absolutely fantastic. Embers of Fate comes out February 14th of 2025. Please go check it out if you love romantasy. You're gonna love Danny. It's so great.
that is 1 week
So
from today, as a matter of fact.
yes, and I need to get on there and do my review. I am
Nice.
I'm
So,
really bad about. I will do reviews, but like I am the worst about doing them in a timely manner.
that's okay.
Like I know how important it is too, and I'm like,
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, and it's sometimes it takes me a while too. I think it took me like a year before remembered I didn't leave a review for The Sneaky Last by Kennedy Sutton, or just as an example.
oh, I love Kennedy. Kennedy was like, I started reading. I saw her on TikTok. She's like that mood reader thing. Going back to that, I
Mhm.
saw Kennedy on TikTok, and I was like, "Ooh, I like it." Pirate Roomie.
Yes. Who?
So I picked up her series.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I'm on book 3 actually, and I was like, it was kind of reminding me of Terry Goodkind in a way. Have you ever read Terry?
Terry.
Like he has the that.
No,
I don't know if he has a second series, but he's got like this one series. It's like 800 pages in each book. It's ridiculously long, and the amount of crap that he puts this main character through. Man, I am like, can you just not like, dude needs a break. So I was just reading Kennedy stuff, and I was like, Kennedy, calm down. I was
nice.
like, you gotta like be nice to her every once in a while, right? Like, but she does she is nice to her. But I was like, dude. Not to say you shouldn't read it. You should go read it. It's very good. Um, but there's some stuff. Samantha, this one's a little bit too much. I'm not doing people that bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah,
Samantha's.
Kennedy's fantastic.
Yeah, Samantha says, "Torture the characters forever." And her, her mantra is "happily ever after" is overrated. So you kind of have an inkling of what you're getting with her.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm gonna stay over here, Samantha. I don't want to like. I want to be out of reality. I suffer enough. Okay.
Well, I think that's
I
part
got
of our
enough
therapy.
going on over
Our
here.
we have to project our suffering onto our characters. To a certain
So then we
extent.
would all need. I don't need more therapy, Brian.
Duly
I don't need
noted.
to be called out.
No,
I got enough. I'm gonna have problems myself. It's fine.
no, you're in good company, I assure you. So, uh,
Samantha's over there saying she's gonna torture more people over here.
well, well, we're just taking. Oh, there's a thumbs up. I don't know how that happened, but
Did I do that? I did one earlier and I thought it like caught it and did it, or somebody like, can you pull the video?
I think if you're doing it on an iPad or an iPhone, if you do a thumbs up,
No,
it'll show up like, yeah. Because sometimes Sam does this. Like she does the hearts, and it'll
no.
show up
Maybe
like a
my
heart.
thumbs are like
Oh,
too
the
far back. I
fireworks.
think I do.
That was
Okay,
magnificent, and
that was interesting.
those books, the retrofit are magnificent as well. And we are giving away a book box this evening. And if you want in on that, drop an ice cube down in the comments. The ice cube,
Yeah.
as in Thin Ice, which is another book by B. Williams. So drop an ice cube down there, and if the Nyquil kicks in, I will let you know in the morning that you won. And we're doing this the old-fashioned way here. I'm writing them down because I forgot to set up the wheel, but that's okay. I'm writing down your. We have KD times 3, and Sam. Yes.
There's crew files in here. I set them up as files because it's sci-fi, so even into the goodness.
Beautiful.
Oh, Samantha.
Yes, and
KD might let you win over there. She does already have it. So
what should say when you get to the giveaway, just ask your phone to pick a number. I'm not following you on that one, but that's all right. Oh, well, I can take a few minutes to type in the names, and then we can scribble them in the wheel. But so while so obviously we have your genre, sci-fi, urban fantasy. Um, how many books do you have again?
So the Callistar series has 1.0 and 1.5, so that's two out. And then 2.0 is sitting on my computer waiting for me to edit it. And then Moss and Wolf, we did have three. Like I said, we pulled those down. We were retrofitting them. Um, and the first one will be out April 1st. So the
Nice.
arcs for that are going out March 1st, I believe, and maybe a few days late, depending on how much of a procrastinator I am, which is a lot. I'll be honest, I procrastinate a
Mm.
lot. So,
Mm.
but it'll be out in March for arc readers. Um,
Yeah,
and then
procrastination
that'll
is
make it free. So,
yeah, but procrastination is sort of what we do, as authors. When we're, it's sometimes we call it productive procrastination because, well, I don't have to write today,
mm,
but I have to do all these graphics for all this other promotions and whatnot.
yeah. And too, like when you do a novel, you need to take off like a little bit of time to be able to like when you go to edit it, you should be taking time between that to like clear your brain.
Oh yes,
Because like when you edit, obviously you're human, you're gonna miss things eventually, even if you proofread it. Like I've found a typo in the retrofit the other day in the paperback copy, and I was like, but I'm like, it's fine, it's one, it's fine. I'm not gonna go in there.
yeah, that's okay. I and my one of my arc readers found a whole bunch of things in one of my short stories. I think it was one of the most egregious ones was instead of it was test your metal instead of mettle, it was metal. And that's
It's
not
easy to miss. Yeah, I mean, professional books have errors, and those have gone through like 20 pairs of eyes before they get out there. So if
oh
I'm
yeah,
reading an indie book and I find a typo like once every 50 pages, I'm gonna be like, yeah, okay. Like we're all human. Like it's nothing. And you hire an editor, and you can't expect your editor to be 100% on every single thing. It's I would like like a good amount of like not having any errors,
right.
but like I accept the fact that of course there's going to be things that you come back and you find there.
Oh yeah,
So I
yeah,
started using that like read aloud feature and like changing the font style because it makes you like forces you to do it. And I do the read aloud and I follow along. So that way I can see like if there's anything weird in there. And Microsoft voices, let's just say it's interesting, but it does work.
right.
So
Yeah. Now, where did you find the inspiration to write what you write?
so basically it's kind of funny because JJ and I don't really like set up a whole like we are not plotters usually. We're usually pretty well pantsers. At least I am. Sometimes JJ goes a little bit better than I am. But like I said, when we did the Moss and Wolf series, we were on that superhero website, and I was like, let's do something new. And we started writing that together, and I was like, man, JJ, I'm like, I don't know if this like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. I'm like, I really want this thing to happen. And I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna. I'm trying not to give away too much. Sorry, I don't know if it's gonna happen. And he's like, it's fine. So I'll just keep going and see what happens. And it happened, and I was so happy. Um, but like for the retrofit, I think we had just got done. Um, we write for fun a lot. There's a lot of things that will never see the light of day that were just like fun stuff that we did, and we were writing like a romantasy. And I might actually convert that one eventually. It was between a knight and a princess and fun stuff. That's why I like Embers of Fate so much, is because I like that kind of stuff. And I was like, let's do something different. I'm like, let's do something like so are out there. So we just decided like, hey, let's do a sci-fi one. We haven't done futuristic in a really long time. And so we just made up characters and hopped right into it. And we had no idea where we were going with it
Hmm.
when we hopped into it. So it's hard to like justify it other than like, hey, let's do this setting and we throw characters in and we just see what happens. It really is just go with the flow.
Right.
And if we start going with the flow, we realize it's getting like out of hand, we'll kind of start like plotting a little bit then. Um, but that's what's so great about the retrofit is because these characters are around just each other for so long. And it does get a little bit cozy kind of in the middle because of that. But by doing that in that style, it grows more organically because we're not plotting out these chapters like, okay, well, this is when this is going to happen, or this is going to happen, and we're not going towards those goals. We're letting it happen as the characters let it happen, kind of
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
So
if it feels right, that's like it's supposed to happen 2 chapters from now, but maybe now's the time to pull the trigger on this or that. Yeah.
yeah, like we don't force any of our like we don't force those interactions. If the characters like we were writing something for fun just now, and I'm like, I want these characters to kiss so badly. Like I wanted it to happen, and I kept wanting it to happen, but it was just never the right time. Between like what was happening in the scene or what was happening here. And it's a great thing about how we write. It's not set up on a timeline. It happens when it happens organically within the story. So, and I think that's what makes us a little bit different is because it's not this chapter is this chapter is that. It's we outline the chapters after we get done by what happened when we were writing.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I think that's and if it feels right to you, it's going to feel right to the reader too. As it's now
bye Samantha. She said no, she's got to go to sleep.
I guess
I guess that NyQuil
the
finally
NyQuil is
kicked
kicking
in.
in. All right. So sweet dreams, and I'll let you know if you're the winner. Don't worry. Um,
Yeah.
you obviously you have your series. Do you like series, or do you like standalones, or I mean, do you prefer series? How do you feel about that?
So I like series. I'm one of those people where I don't like to read a series until it is finished. If it is an indie author, I will go ahead and start. Like if I know them or I see something about it, I will go ahead and start it because I want to give them that encouragement to keep going. And part of that encouragement to keep going is getting reviews, is getting people to read it, is knowing that somebody is waiting for you to get that done. So if I know it's an indie author and I'm interested in reading it because I like caught some of it on TikTok or I saw them talking about it, then I will start it. If it's a New York Times bestseller, they are very likely going to finish it whether I give them feedback or not. So I will wait. I did recently Fourth Wing. I was going to wait till it was finished. The only reason I read it is because book club was reading it, and I was like, fine,
Uh,
I'll do it. And then everybody's like, oh, it's so great. And I was like, I'll just go to Discord, keep my thoughts to myself.
gotcha.
I did like it. I did have some issues with it. And I'm like, maybe it's because as authors, we might be just a little bit more like judgy. I don't know. Because if you see things that like you do that you think are a problem with your writing and other people's writing, then you're just like, so
Hmm.
like things that I try to correct myself on, like
Yeah.
so. I forgot what the question was.
No. No, it was. I mean, which question? I moved on to the next page. Oh my god. Oh, it was about
Sorry.
standalones or series. No, that's all right. It's
Oh, I like both.
okay.
I read both. I like both.
Yes.
Um, I literally reread the Percy Jackson series every year, and that's like 15 books. So,
Oh yeah.
but I also like standalones. I like it too. I love the new thing with like romance novels where they're interconnected standalones because
Right.
then if you don't like a character, you can just like skip right past that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I do like those a lot.
Yeah.
So
I sort of like
both.
when I wrote Core Memories, I sort of retroactively made referenced made it like a each of my books are standalones, but there are bits and pieces in Core Memories that reference bits and pieces of other books. I kind of retroactively made them part of the same universe. So
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
Like getting it in. Sorry, I'm an interrupter too. That's like when we did Thin Ice, and I was like, I know what I want to do. So in 2.0, I was like, every book from now on, I want the next book in the main novel series to have a chapter at the very end that is the people from the novella. I'm like, I want that check in their point of view so that if you liked them and you want to see that, and Katie has not seen the chapter for Rick and Gila yet for 2.0 because I haven't written it yet, Katie. Don't come at me for that. Um, but I want those check-ins, and I love that. I love getting to see these characters. I will let you know when I'm done, Katie. She's putting the crying face down in the comments. I was working on Moss and Wolf. I'm sorry. I'll get to it eventually. Um, but I love check-ins like that. I love that. I love getting to see like where they're at. That's why I love those interconnected standalones, because you do get to go back and see like what they're up to or what they're doing or
Right.
things like that. So big fan.
Nice. Um, no, I mean, we talked a little bit about, when you're not
Katie,
writing. Katie's wreaking havoc in the chats, I guess. Oh, she's
yeah.
gonna get it.
Sorry, she's saying that she's waiting on Moss and Wolf too. I'm like, you will get it when you get it, Katie. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So,
I'm what a one woman show when it comes to finishing the editing. Okay,
so
doing the best I can.
yeah, you're a woman show when you're not writing. You're being a mom. You're doing all these other things. How do you
I know
handle?
this is a group effort. Let's put it. This is a group effort, but like this final review is me because I am so anal, and JJ's like, I'm done. I'm like,
Right.
so
I
like
hear
the
you.
final review from Moss and Wolf is me, and I'm like so anal about it, and I feel so bad because I'm like over there on like Google Docs, like doing the suggestion thing. I'm like, go look at it.
Oh, I'm familiar with all those little suggestions, and from spoiler alert, Samantha has edited most of my short stories as well, at Core Memories, and a couple of my other short stories, and I'm very familiar with getting back that Google Doc and seeing doot, 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 doot. Yeah, I and
Love that. Love that stuff
you
right
know
there. It's
and
very fun.
some people have heard the story of how she broke Evie's Google Doc when she was editing Abyssal.
Oh no! I mean, I'm editing a manuscript for an Italian author right now, and I told her when I got it, I was like, "Look, I'm like break this up into 4 sections because I will crash Google Docs. Like, you need to break this up." I'm like, because I will knock it down because I have like made it shut down developmental editing where I've been like just making comments for developmental. I'm like much less making editorial suggestions. I'm like, because it's gonna happen. So, but she is so sweet. I can't wait for her to finish the translation and get it out in English. It is
Mm.
it. I guess I don't know if it's because like the way she uses the English language, the way she uses some words and utilizes them are so different. Her prose is different from how we use it,
Huh.
and it's so creative. And I'm like, man, I would have never have thought to use that word in that way. And it's gorgeous and I love it and I can't wait for her to get it done. I will be over on TikTok like like get this right now. And it is romantasy, so for all those girlies,
Oh yeah.
it's so good. So good.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm a romance reader myself. So it's not just the girlies. I was
Sorry.
no, no, you're good. It's funny. I was on Clint on TikTok last night. We had like a kind of a roundtable discussion with Clint Black and Clarence Carter and a couple of other people, and he asks me, like what drew you to romance? You're a male author who likes to write. Well, that's I'm inspired by all the everybody else, all the other indie authors, and, yeah.
I forced him to do it with me, so he understands. He's so good at it too, though. I'll be fair, he's so good. He makes me blush, and I'm like, dude.
Mm.
So
So, what what do you enjoy the most about writing, and conversely, what do you like the least about it?
editing is the least favorite thing ever.
Ah,
Actually, marketing is not about writing, but good God, I hate it.
mm.
I don't think anybody likes marketing, and if
That
you
is the
do,
number.
like,
That is the number one least favorite. The number one answer for least favorite.
it's so hard. Like, what do you do with that? Like, I love it. Obviously, I'm like, I don't know how to make you love it. Like, I
Yeah,
love it, but whatever.
yeah.
Um,
Like if it would
I
not
think my
be
favorite part.
it would not be a
Sorry,
category on Family Feud. We asked 100 authors, what is your least favorite part about number one
Steve
answer,
one.
marketing. 100.
Maybe like the second one would be editing. Like a couple people might pick that,
Right.
but like marketing. But my favorite thing, like I said, the way that JJ and I's writing process works, where we're writing back and forth, and we don't necessarily always have like a clear narrative or place that we're going. And I don't always know what he's going to. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what he's going to pull out his hat. I don't know what his characters are going to do. I may have an idea of like, hey, this is the end goal, but I don't know how we're getting there. And that is my favorite part about writing with a partner is writing with a partner because like, man, it's exciting. It's like I get excited. I see him go on there and be like, hey, I've got my section up and I get to go read it. And I'm like, this is it's like getting a personal he's my little personal author that just sends me stuff, and it's so much fun. I like that part. Solo writing though, because like if there is a chapter where like Kira is by herself, generally I wrote a lot of that by myself, and Jake came in and like tweaked it a little bit at the end. Um, I like the fact that like when you're solo writing, you don't have anybody telling you what to do.
Mm.
Thank you, Katie. She says I love that y'all can tandem write and not be a hot mess. That's called editing.
Yeah, yeah. That was my initial question. When I asked you in the beginning. Yeah, it is. I would imagine it could be a challenge, but there has to be a little. JJ seems like he's the kind of person who like he he contributed. What he contributed, and you're the editing part of it. Like what afterwards.
We edit together. Like we did edit
Yeah.
Moss and Wolf together and everything, but I do those final passes because
Right.
I am a lot more anal than it is.
Right.
So because I want it to be perfect,
Hmm.
basically. So
Yeah.
but yeah, we do a lot of it. We do it together when we can. We used to just get on Discord combos and edit together. But as you know, family life and things like that, we don't always find the time to get on together. So when we were redoing Moss and Wolf, I would go on and we couldn't always talk, so we would do it under suggestions back and forth. So, but I'm like the final like gatekeeper, I guess, because
Right.
I'm the one that goes through after we get done with all these suggestions and make sure that when you're doing the suggestions on there, it's so hard to see underneath that, like with those little green lines, and make sure that all of the periods are where they're supposed to be and things like that. Um, so I go through and make sure all of that's lined out.
So, do you have any particular routine when you're writing? Like, you need to have a beverage, you need to have, you know, music, or how do you?
So when I'm solo writing, it is essentially, and I am working on my own project right now. It's basically the kids in bed, and this is the time I have to do this, and I am just knocking out as much as I can.
Oh,
So I don't really have a preferred drink. I just sit in my bedroom because that's where it's quietest, and hope to God that my kid doesn't come in there and ask to go potty. So
ah, yeah, a lot of that is I think with myself and a few other people that I know who work during the day. It's the nighttime is usually the time to either write or do something else. If you need a break from that. Um, yeah, that's.
do like writing sprints when I can,
Oh,
but that competitive thing. So I see writing sprints as a competition.
oh,
That
yeah.
helps a
See, like,
lot.
yeah, I don't, I would feel too much pressure to like, if like she has 600 words, she has 500 words, I have like 300. It's in whatever
I
20
know.
minutes. So I'd be like, ugh. But
See,
it's.
I view it as like that's the competition right there. We're gonna knock this out. If I view it as something where I'm doing something like that, it gets done a lot faster.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I guess that's the way to think about it. You're competing with yourself per se. You're not competing with everybody else. It just whatever drives you to do better. I guess is.
Yeah.
Um, um, how many works in progress do you have right now?
Sorry. So we have um 2.0 is first draft is done.
Mhm.
2.5, about half of that draft is done. 3.0, the I would say pre-draft is done, where we've done that writing back and forth is done. So that's three. Moss and Wolf, we have the first one that I just got done. That's working on that. We are fixing the second one right now, so that's another two. So that's five. And I'm working on a solo project, so six.
Oh,
Lots of stuff going on.
yeah. That is.
But I do believe Sorry.
No, no, go ahead.
The plan is to get 2.0 out of this done. So we're gonna get Moss and Wolf 1 out. I'm gonna get 2.0 out, and then I'm gonna fix Moss and Wolf 2. And then the great thing is when we decided to pull the series, we had 3 edited already, and we were like, this is fresh on our minds. So we went ahead and edited 3, fixed that one. So once I get 2 done, we can push out Moss and Wolf 3 because it's already been finished. Because we're like, we just got done with this. We just got it back from the editor. Let's do this while we remember it really well, you know? So once that's done, and I think once 3 comes out, I'm going to work on that solo project and hopefully get that done. And then I'll go back to 2.5. And I know Katie's going to try and kick my butt in the comments because everybody's waiting on Bree, and I'm so sorry. You will be the first to know when something happens with that. Because Bree's a fun character.
Katie is not the patient
Katie's
type.
not the
Yeah,
patient
I
type.
understand that. Yeah, it's I think Evie is threatening to drive to Michigan to make Sam write her Legacy of Lies, the next book in her Cursed Souls series. So yeah, we all have those people in our lives.
I am moving as fast as I can, okay? Like, that's the goal is to move as fast as I can. Obviously, as indies, we are expected to, I don't know why we are expected to be more productive than people that are on the New York Times bestseller, because those people get paid to do this. That's their job.
Right.
Like, I have other obligations. Like, why do I have to be faster and better and quicker than them? You give them, like, people wait a year for one book from them, and we're expected to put out multiple a year. And I'm like, that's not a fair, like, to be successful, you're expected to put out multiple a year. It's so
Yeah,
hard. Honestly,
it's all whatever works for you, you know. And I think I say this all the time. You know, your readers, you know, if they really, you know, appreciate you and they love what you do, they will wait. You know, with, you know, all joking aside about, you know, driving, you know, to somebody's house and standing over them, watching them type. You know, the you know the real ones will appreciate you and wait for it to come out.
see, I don't need them to come watch me type. I need them to come babysit.
Oh, that too.
Like,
Yeah,
if you want it
that
done
works too.
faster, come babysit for me.
Yeah, especially you know, on the snow days where it's like, ugh, well, I guess I'm not writing today because, you know, the little gremlin's home.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
So,
She asked me, she said, Mama, why are you working? I'm like, I'm like, because I have to, honestly, babe. Like, it's fine. She's finally getting the point that, like, Mama's busy for a little bit. If I need to do something during the day, I pull out the computer. She's like, "Why are you working?" I'm like, "I'm not even writing. I'm like paying bills or doing something else." And she's like, "Why are you on there?"
ah,
I'm like, "Sorry, it's hot in here." I've been so red. My face is like, I've been blushing this whole interview.
oh,
I'm
well,
getting embarrassed
the
easy, and then
lighting,
I
you know,
like, you can
the
see
lighting works for you
my
because
ears.
okay, now I see it.
I am so I get embarrassed easy, and then the whole thing goes on. So.
Yeah. So what do you do
No,
when
no, thank you. Just said it's not noticeable. The ear, I think, was noticeable. So,
yeah, what did Katie say now? Oh, it's not. Oh, Jeff said it. Not noticeable. Yeah, no, the lighting the
she's talking
lighting
about
it
the.
works for you. It's not as noticeable.
I know. Katie was talking about the looking over your shoulder. She's like 100%.
So,
If she, oh gosh, she does know where I live. Honestly, I don't think you live close though. I don't remember your address, but I don't think it was close. So that would be a drive for you. Thank you, Katie. She said I look fantastic. You're so
yes,
sweet.
she is a good one. Um,
He
what?
is the best. Okay, I'll come there for a writer's retreat then.
Oh, well, I'm in New York, so I'm not too far from you. Yeah. What do you do when the characters aren't talking to you?
Um, so fun thing is the character does talk to me because JJ's doing the other one, so
Oh, okay.
we kind of technically like never shut up. Um, we do bounce around between projects because like we lose interest in a project for a little bit. Like we've been doing this project for a lot, so we'll bounce to a different one for a while if we're having issues with that. So instead of like we get writer's block on like one project, but we're usually so far ahead. Like we just finished the outline for 3.5 on this one. So even if we are blocked, we can take time off and go to something else because we are so far ahead that by the time that we get editing done on the next one that's coming out, we're like 2 ahead. So not a huge deal. Like Moss and Wolf, we just finished the 7th case. So we have to get these first 3 back out, and then we have 4 more that are already ready to be put together and edited and sent out. So not a huge problem. So
Gotcha. Well, yeah, yeah, that is true because you do have somebody else who can, who can kind of fill in, you know,
that helps a lot.
yeah.
You'd be surprised that there are some sections though where like, man, I'm like, I don't feel like doing this description, and you put those little the brackets. Like, I'll do it later.
Yeah,
So
I try to write chronologically, but actually with Eddie the Legend, it was just like sometimes I'll just think of pieces of dialogue, or I'll think of another part that goes somewhere else, and like I'll while I'm working, doing my day job, I'll just write something and send it to myself, to plug it in later.
I do that a lot. I do that in notes, and then I like post it on the Google Doc later. I've had people ask too. They're like, "How do you know that's going to fit the scene?" And I'm like, "It may not. It may never make it in there, and I may not get around to that because I don't plot. So I may be writing this for nothing, but it's more writing. It's doing something rather than nothing. You know."
Right.
Oh, Jeff. He
So
said, Jeff said, I'm terrible at trying to think about the words I want to use and then lose momentum. It's the worst. Just put in
oh
a
yeah.
bracket with the description, Jeff. I do worry about that. I do worry about like word usage. And like, I tell my readers, I'm like the beta people, I'm like, when you're reading, if you see a phrase that is overused, like, tell me. I do not want to
Mm,
do that.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, yeah. My editor, whether it's Sam or somebody else, I'll get you used this word like 3 paragraphs ago. Is there something else that you can use here?
I do it to myself. I
Yeah, but
literally go through that. I'm like, I just saw
yeah,
this
but yeah, this you did mention like yeah, if you do self edit, it is definitely a good idea to kind of put it away for a couple weeks, maybe for a little, at least a little bit of time. That way you can look at it with fresh eyes, like you said.
like I said, doing the change in like the font too will help you read it as something new. And
Ah,
then like changing the way you're reading it, like a lot of people, like I'll seeing it in print versus on the computer can help you do that. So ordering an early proof copy, I think, also helps
mm,
because it changes the way you're looking at it and tricks your brain into
right.
thinking it's something different.
Yeah, another trick was reading it out loud. I found.
Yeah, use Microsoft. It's interesting.
Mm.
The voice is interesting. It's funny. So the Italian manuscript that she translated, she's I don't know why it's in Italian. She's actually Dutch. So I don't know why the manuscript's in Italian. I know she's originally Italian. But the Microsoft document, when it's reading it, will sometimes have the regular voice, and then like one sentence will have this very Dutch accent. And I'm very confused as to why it's doing it, and then it will pop back into like the English accent. I'm like, why is the Microsoft doing this? And it's funny, there was a poem. There was a poem, like she has poems in this book, and like none of the other poems did it, but this one poem, like it will switch back and forth line to line between the Dutch accent and the English accent. I'm like,
Weird.
why? I'm like, there's no words in there that are like Dutch words. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Oh, yeah, Katie says the iPhone text to speech does that also.
It's weird. So my husband keeps changing. He changes my iPhone Siri voice
Oh
as a
no.
joke, and I'm like, I don't ever know what it's gonna be when I get in the car and put in maps. The last one it was this Indian dude, and I was like, why? I was like, this looks so bad.
I don't know, and I don't know. Do they have like celebrity voices like they used to have on Tom Tom? Like John Cleese used to. After 800 yards, turn left.
I would love like a sarcastic, like Gordon Ramsay telling me how to drive. I would love it. Like, you ordering a sandwich? Like, you missed your
You
turn.
missed your turn. Are you an idiot? Turn around now.
You undercooked sausage. Like,
Yes. Uh, so are there?
Katie said that she thinks that Microsoft or Google Docs has it so you can choose Snoop Dogg's voice.
Oh God.
I'm gonna need to find this now. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you need like a Snoop to English translation. I think. Oh.
I don't think there was a teenage girl voice, Jeff, but I would love it. I love the like TikTok videos where they make fun of it and they plug him into that. They're fantastic.
Yeah, Jeff says like oh my God, turn left, and you have to have the afterwards. Like I already told you.
That'd be so great. I need one to like smack me, like it's true. I can't wait for self-driving cars. I'll be fair. Like I want that to be a thing already. I'm so tired of driving my car.
I think they started that already. Actually, my aunt's husband told me one time, you know, I can, the day where I can go get drunk at the bar and just have my car drive me home, you know.
My husband had a rental car, and it would like stay between the lines if you like took your hand off of the wheel. But then it would get angry at you if you weren't like adjusting enough for
Oh,
it. And I was like, "What's the point?"
what is it like? Start shaking or like
Like,
or something like that?
yeah, it would like hit the brakes. It was so still. It was weird.
Huh.
But like, obviously, you have to have your hand on the wheel. But I was like, "Man, this is great." I'm like, I was just kind of like just cruising along, obviously paying attention to the road. But I was like, man, it like self adjusting kind of keeps you in the middle. I'm like, this is fantastic. And then I got angry because I wasn't adjusting it with it, and I was like,
Hmm.
either do it or don't. Like
Yeah,
the cruise control where it like keeps you back at distance. My husband hates it, and I love it because I'm
yeah.
like, then I don't have to constantly hit the brakes. It just doesn't.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a control freak, so I don't use cruise control. I would be too afraid that it's like like I just need to have my hand on the wheel and my foot ready to brake or gas go on the gas or whatever
See, I'm over here like, please drive for me.
um, uh, um, who are the authors that have inspired you? Who whether they be like
So,
indie or trad or whoever.
so as a teenager, I read a lot of. Do you know the Dragonlance series? You heard of that?
I'm sorry, the driving what?
The
Oh,
Dragonlance.
oh, sorry. No, I don't.
Okay, so it was based off of Dungeons and Dragons, like the system for that, and it's Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman. So obviously, you can tell I don't mind a co-writer. Um, from my understanding, was like they did D&D sessions, and they were like, let's do this and like take these characters and make it into a story. And it's absolutely fantastic the amount of world building and the effort they put into these, and you can't tell this is written by two people at all. And it's third person. Um, can't even think of what it would be now, but absolutely just a fantastic series. And the books were like when I was a teenager and I got grounded, I was like, oh no, I have to read. I can't watch TV. It's so sad. So um, I liked that. I used to read a lot of Terry Goodkind. Um, I just read a lot of fantasy, like a lot of high fantasy. Margaret Weiss and Hickman have one that's called the Elven Star, which is really, really, really good. But I was one of those kids that was like reading Aragon and would read Anne McCaffey, things like that. I did read Twilight, so
Right.
I did also read. Um, I don't want to say trash, but like I read like less high fantasy things like that because Twilight was interesting. As an adult, I look back at Twilight and I'm like, man, that was a lot. But as a teenager, I was like, this is really fun. So,
Hmm.
but now as an adult, I do read a lot of indie authors. And I get a lot of inspiration from indie authors and seeing the things that they're doing and how they do it. And I love to see that. Kennedy Sutton.
Yes.
I read hers. I loved hers so much. Um, but I bounce around so much. I don't read just one genre. I literally read like Jurassic Park, and then I read like Ice Planet Barbarians. So I read everything. I enjoy everything. I said I don't. I read historical, and then I have to tell myself that my characters are also not historical characters, and to not write them like that. So
Mm.
Jeff asked if I was a gamer, if I play RPGs. I do play D&D. um, I am not a forever DM. I escaped. I ran away. I did DM for years, and I made it out. You can too. just
I never made it in.
holler if you need help. Here.
I you know,
So
my addiction with the gaming is sports games. So I never got into I mean I played Sims. I played things like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and, but I never got into the D&D or other than like the Lewis and Clark game on my old Commodore 64. No, I'm sorry, Oregon Trail, not Lewis and Clark, but yeah, it was Oregon Trail.
to die of dysentery.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Sorry, I can see you playing sports games. Honestly, Brian, that doesn't surprise me. Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, hey,
not surprising at all.
no, pretty much as advertised there. But
I do like games though. I do like RPGs and things like that. I play a lot of Fallout. I loved Halo. I liked Halo over Call of Duty
mm,
because I like that losing that sense of reality kind of thing. Um, I like. I just got done with like Breath of the Wild too, and that was a lot. I used to play a lot of Assassin's Creed. I'm really surprised I haven't done a romantic pirate fantasy adventure. I probably should. I Jeff asked if we part of the joke about
dysentery. Yeah.
dysentery. Yes, I thought about that when I said dysentery.
Yes. Oh, and Gauntlet. Yes. Remember that the old arcade games, Gauntlet. The Wizard, the Valkyrie, all. I think I made it to level 75 one time.
Oh wow.
I don't know. It was like 4 in the morning, and I had to go to bed, so I had to reset it. But
See, I was in I'm a paramedic and I was in medic school and I was doing clinicals and doing all my stuff. And do what? Sorry, I was sorry. And I was playing Assassin's Creed 4, which is Black Flag. And I don't know if anybody's ever played that or not. But I'm a completionist. I have issues. I would spend like when I wasn't studying and I wasn't on the ambulance, I spent 12 hours a day collecting animus pieces and treasure chests, and it was a lot. So I try not to play games where it's so much stuff to collect because I have to have every piece of armor and I have to have this and I have to have that. And that is why I don't play WoW because I know better. I know not to do that. It will consume my life. So no, thank you.
yes. Um,
It'd be
any,
so bad.
uh, knowing what you know now, do you have any advice for unpublished writers or people who hope to become authors?
Honestly, the best thing for me is that uh, a lot of people get into it and they start struggling because they do plot because people tell them to plot and they tell them to do this and do that and then like I want to write this scene and they don't. They're trying to get there. They're trying to do it chronologically, and I'm like, if you're really struggling with that, I think that you should write what you're in the mood for and what makes you happy. Um, I can tell a difference. So when I'm solo writing, I can tell a difference between something that I was super excited to write and that I was in the mood to write versus something that I was just pushing through. So I think that like if you are excited to write a scene, just jump to the scene and write it. Honestly, do what you're in the mood for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go back in and fill those blanks in.
Right.
But other than that, having people on your side, having people alpha read for you, having that encouragement. I am someone that works by having a deadline or having something that some knowing somebody's waiting for something helps me a lot. So if I have alpha readers and I know they're waiting on that next chapter, it makes me work harder on it because it's not a deadline like a set deadline, but I put a deadline in my mind for them.
Right.
So that helps a lot. So
Nice.
I am gigantic procrastinator, so that helps.
Oh yeah.
In
Yeah.
no case cannot give me deadlines. I will not.
Is she threatening you again?
She is not, but she just put the laughing face emoji, so I know she was thinking about it.
Ah, she'll be good. Okay.
She was gonna be like, "This is due that now."
So we're going to give you all a chance once again to drop the ice cube emoji down there in the comments, and you will get a book box. You have those two lovely books right there, and the retrofit. It's the Callistar series, the first in the Callistar series. Mr. Jeff Spar, I will mark you down, and everybody else, I will do the same.
I'm Samantha's ice cubes. I identify as Samantha's ice cubes, right, Katie?
She's Samantha's ice cubes. Okay, so Samantha, I will add three more to her total, and yes, at the end of the day, I will pick a number and I will assign each of these a number, and we'll figure out a winner from there. So the wheel of names will be different tonight. So so now I'm going to get into a couple of the fun little questions. Not that these past questions haven't been fun, but
Sorry, and I talk a lot, so.
no, you're good. No, it's this has been very very fruitful and productive. I appreciate you coming on again. Um, so
Thanks for having me.
of course. So I had to ask Evie Black's favorite question. Um,
Oh no. So concerned now.
what is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, Triceratops.
Ah,
I literally did a D&D game and we got to pick out a dinosaur because it was set in like a Dinotopia kind of setting. Yeah, one of my Triceratops, okay?
okay.
There's a right answer, Katie. What's the right answer? Because Jeff seems to think that Triceratops is correct.
Well, I think Triceratops is an acceptable answer. Stegosaurus, as Katie says, Velociraptor is always a popular one. I like I like T-Rex. I like T-Rex myself. And Barney is not an acceptable response, by the way.
Marty? I did love Marnie as a kid. It's still on, by the way. It is.
Barney still on? Why is Barney still on after all this time? Why am I not your favorite dinosaur?
Yeah, I don't remember who it was, but I think I sprung that on somebody a few weeks ago, and they were no, I think it was Evie who said never do that again. Well, haha, you're not here to scold me. uh. Anywho,
Wow.
thank you.
Oh my god.
I'll do it. I'll do it once more at the end. I'll do it when we least expect it. How's that? If you could go back, if you could go back in time, whether it be to the dinosaur age or not, if you could go back in time, what year would you travel to?
I would travel to the 90s. I'm not going back anywhere near. See, this is the thing. Like, people are like, if you could travel in time, where would you? I'm not going backwards. I like electricity. I like air conditioning. I like cars.
Nice.
I like having rights. Like, I'm not going back there.
That is true. Yeah.
Like, I would go back to I may go back to the 80s and hit up some of these hair band concerts.
Oh yeah.
I would go to Journey. I would go to Aerosmith. And I would go to Foreigner, whenever they were big. I would definitely hit up these big bands. That would be my thing for sure.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see those in person. But I'm not going back farther than that. Hell no. No.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. I think I would go back to I wouldn't go back to the signing of the Magna Carta or anything like that. I would, maybe I'll go back to Woodstock or go back to the opening of Walt Disney World and things like that. But
that would be so good. I didn't think about that. Now I would if it was a one-time trip and I had to live back through something, I would literally look up the lottery numbers for today and go back to yesterday.
Nice.
Because I wouldn't want to go back so far that it would change my life significantly. I want, I have my daughter and my husband and things like that, and I don't want to change that at all. but it would go back like 2 days and like do the lottery.
Yeah. Well, I dare say that getting the winning lottery numbers would change your life significantly going forward. Perhaps for the
Yeah,
better.
I just need it from here on out. I need money from here on out, not
Yeah.
that, you know.
Um, do you believe in aliens?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, well, there you go.
I don't think
There's a
like
layup if there ever was
how are
one.
we gonna be like if there's a miracle of life on this planet? How are we gonna be like there was never any other universe out there where there wasn't the same opportunistic things? Like, yeah, it's maybe a one in like billions and billions of whatever chance, but like if it happened here, why could it not happen somewhere else?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, honestly, like there's no way that it's not happened some other universe, some other timeline, something,
Right.
you know? So
Um,
even
yeah.
if it's just microorganisms, that's alien life.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you. Yeah, there has to be something else out there somewhere. More advanced or
hopefully it's not better than us because then we're screwed.
well,
Uh,
that's true.
I would
That's
like to
true.
be at the top of that dog eat dog thing. I want to be at the top of the food chain, not the bottom of the food chain, hoping that, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I think eventually we will some sort of living thing or creature will surpass us. Hopefully, maybe it's when we're long gone, but it's bound to happen at some point. Until then, um, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Uh, so I like vanilla, but I'm gonna be real specific here. So like when you go to like Dairy Queen or like somewhere and you get like a concrete or a blizzard or whatnot,
Hmm.
the Dairy Queen cookie dough blizzard is vanilla ice cream, um, chocolate chip cookie pieces, and hot fudge.
Right?
So if you want to recreate that somewhere else, that's what that is, and that is the bomb.
Yeah, I would. I like cookie dough. I like mint chocolate chip. Yeah, Evie says vanilla is the only acceptable answer for in her world because you can add anything to it. So it's you can.
That's fair because you can make it chocolate, you can make it strawberry. Like that's fair. I did say vanilla, and then I added things in. So,
And good evening,
and
Sam.
Jeff's down in the comments telling me.
Sam Selwood is here as well. Good evening down in the comments. Yes, I have the comments up here on my phone tonight, so I'm thankful that I can keep track of that tonight.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
have to record my screen, so they're like right down there.
yeah. So if you were trapped on a deserted island or a foxhole, who's the one person you'd want with you?
Wilson. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Hey, that's a,
I would. There would be some Wilson jokes. Like until I got tired and like realized that this was gonna really suck, I would be making a lot of Wilson jokes. But my husband, because I'm not going to survive by myself, I have done said that if the zombie apocalypse happens and he goes out and somehow dies, we're just gonna go. It's my time to go. But he was he wasn't a Boy Scout, but he was in a church program when he was little that's similar to that, and he
Mhm.
knows how to like survive and build houses and
Hmm.
take him. Okay.
All right. So he's resourceful. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. Either that or like Bear Grylls. I'm not drinking my own tea though. It's
Hmm.
just not happening. I would have chose Steve Irwin if he was still alive, but you know.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. I guess it's safe to say he didn't survive the zombie apocalypse. Unfortunately. Let's see.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah. One more fun question before we get to start wrapping it up here. Um, oh, what inanimate object would be the most annoying if it started playing loud, upbeat music?
I mean, do Furbies count as an inanimate object because they already talk? Like they don't have a soul. They're already
Hmm.
freaking annoying. Like
That that's that works for me.
actually, if this thing made a noise other than what I tell it to, I would chuck it in the bin. I'm kidding. Like,
I
You
hear you.
see that joke where it's like the '90s were picking out our cool ringtones
Oh yes,
and all
right.
that. They were like, if this thing made a noise.
That's that is true. Yeah, it used to make all sorts of fun noises, and and now it's like the people calling you is that's like the last thing you want to do with your phone. It's like that's back in the day you were like, oh, I can't wait to see who's calling me, and now it's just like, why the hell are you calling me? Leave me alone. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, if you can text it, like, why are
yeah,
you not
this
texting
could have been a
it?
text message, or this could have been an email. Yeah.
I agree, Sam. Furbies were actually freaking evil. Like, that thing being an emotion sensor was like beyond its time and horrible. And it used to go off at 3 in the morning. And I'm like, why is this thing? It's not even looking at me. Like, it was on the top of my bed. So why is it doing that?
Yeah. No. I think
What ghost does this thing see? Is it
now
like a cat? Does it see things?
is that now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are Furbies the one where if you squeeze it, the eyes change to like from good to evil? Or is that something else I'm
I don't
thinking
know
of?
about that. Furbies were like, they're like this big, and they had big ears on them that could move, like they moved around, and had eyes that would open and shut. It would like feed me, and you had to like put your finger in its mouth and push down its little tongue, and like it would just start. It was like the first version of AI, honestly,
Hmm.
in a weird way, because it was like it would learn as you did things, and it would talk to you in its Furby language, and it was just.
Huh. Oh, Jeff says, yeah, his oldest had to hug me Elmo when he was younger, and one day it was on the couch and started talking and asking for hugs. That would have creeped me out. Yeah.
That would have been so bad. They were so creepy. They made new Furbies and they're even worse. And I'm like, no. Why would you bring that back? They need to find an original one for my daughter so I can freak her out too.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's
So
fair, Sam. There was a horror movie. Did you guys see the horror movie screening, or not screening, but the trailer for the one with the teddy bear? Like, there
oh,
was a jump scare in this trailer for this teddy bear movie, and I don't think it's out yet. And I jumped for the trailer, and I was like, I am not.
yeah.
No, no. I will not go see that. It's like it was an imaginary friend, but the teddy bear was moving, and I was like,
We're not
I'm
talking
out.
about Ted, are we? We're talking about something scary.
No, no, it's a scary movie about this freaking teddy bear telling this little girl to do these horrible things. Um, because it's like the imaginary friend you forgot. And I was like, this is not Foster's imaginary creature. See, Sam said she's seen that and it's insane. Did you jump at the trailer? Because I
Oh,
about ran out of the theater just for the trailer.
I'm gonna have to find this
I
one.
was like, I could
I'm
not
gonna have to type in teddy bear horror movie and see what comes up. And
do it. It's creepy.
yeah. Oh,
Like I
does the teddy bear
literally
have?
cannot.
Jeff says, does the teddy bear have a Barney voice? You know, like,
Will you hug me really
No, but
tight,
Brian does.
please?
No.
Let's do our Care Bear sharing.
or that's just yeah.
I'm gonna tell Evie on you.
I'll tell her myself.
Okay.
There's nothing she can do about it now. It's over and done with. But anyway,
You weren't here. You should show up.
so we're
Get
gonna
Evie.
we're gonna start wrapping things up in a minute. But can you just tell everybody where we can find you online, please?
Oh, so all of my socials are written by B. Williams with a period between all of the words. So TikTok, Insta, Threads. If you want to find me on Facebook, I don't have like a Facebook group for that. I do have. It's written by B. Williams Art Team. So if you want to come read for me or interested in reading for me, join that, and you will get first opportunities for art signups, things like that. Um, Katie said we were unsupervised. Yeah, of course
Yes.
we were. So, but every single like thing across the board is written by B. Williams. That's the easiest way to reach me.
Right.
JJ does have TikTok. JJ does not post on TikTok, but he's on there.
Mm.
And
Yes,
he does
I
monitor
think I
like the
saw
rest
that
of the
one
groups, but
time.
he's not.
I think I saw one time where
Yeah.
you tagged him.
He comments. He pisses people off in the comments, and I'm like, JJ, stop. In his one line, he
he's a
obviously was being
lurker.
sarcastic, and I'm like,
He's a voyeur, just like my wife. You know,
yeah.
she doesn't post anything. My wife says she's like, I don't like social media, da 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 da. But you know, she'll look at Instagram reels and she'll look at all my Facebook posts and everything, and you know.
Katie down there is like saying JJ's the wizard from Oz, just the man behind the curtain. See, Katie understands that
Mm.
JJ is this right here, and so he's kind of awkward. He comes across so straight laced, and he's not being that way, and it takes a lot to understand his humor. So he like makes comments that people get on there all mad, and I'm like, I know how he meant to come across, but like not everybody. So.
Do you have any events planned in the near future?
So the only thing I have right now is I've got a local library thing. The Cape Girardeau Library is putting on Author Day, and I'm going to that. And then I have I can't remember what it's called. There's actually a con for authors. It's a paranormal con in June that I'm going to because of Moss and Wolf. And I'm going to take this. Like, I'm not just going to show up and be like, there's half my books, but I didn't bring the other half. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'll do a Comic Con in November. I haven't branched out past Southeast Missouri yet. I will eventually. I did actually look into Sinful Signings, and I did not get accepted. So I will try again next
Oh,
year.
okay. Yeah,
So
next year, as far as I know, they are going to be in Texas. So yeah, I think that's the goal is unless it has changed since last I heard. Sinful wants to branch out and be like a place. You know, they want to go to all these different places every year, kind of like the Super Bowl. You know, this coming Sunday, it's like it's in a different location every year. So they
that would
have
be so nice because if you're not close, like Virginia's, they're both far away from me, but like
right.
you know,
Yeah, I mean,
but at least then I need to do like St. Louis one year. I can go. St. Louis is like a couple hours from me. I can go to that one.
right. Well, we'll wait and see. But yeah, as of to this year it is back in Roanoke, and 2026 it is in Houston, Texas, and we'll see where it goes from there. And
Nice.
and any last words before we figure out how to do this giveaway?
I'm crap at marketing. Go buy this. I think it's still 99 cents on Kindle.
Nice.
Um, I keep meaning to go change it, and I keep forgetting. So while I keep forgetting, like as I keep forgetting, go pick you up a copy.
Yes,
It's
and
on
by the way,
Amazon.
if you want a book box featuring the retrofit, drop an ice cube down there in the comments. Not the running one, Sam. The other, the ice cube, or you could just spell ice cube. Either way, we'll accept either answer.
I think Sam actually was running to Amazon, which I appreciate. Go Sam. If you want a book box and you don't win the book box tonight, you can hit me up on TikTok. I've got some over there. I'm probably going to discount them soon just to get this stuff out of my house. Let's be fair.
Gotcha.
I do have bundle copies on TikTok too, with ones that the spine's a little bit off on, because I have so many proof copies of Thin Ice that I ordered because I had a event before it came out, so I couldn't order actual copies. So I have a lot of proof copies. So if you want a proof copy of Thin Ice to be like, yeah, I was there at the beginning, you can go get that bundle copy too.
Jeff says if you're the only guy, you get like 10 more entries. You know what? I'll I don't know if that's an actual rule, but you know what? I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you an extra 3. How's that? Is that
You should
acceptable?
give him some creative. Yeah, give him
I'm
inspiration since he plays
yes.
D&D.
All right. So let's see. We've got okay. So I think I've got everybody here. So with the correct amount of little Cubert boxes here. That's what they look like. I'm aging myself, you know. So I'm gonna get out of this chat for the on my phone for a minute, and we're gonna let's see how many entries do we have. We're doing things a little different tonight. We're not doing the wheel. Let's see. We have 3, 6, 10, 19, 21, 22 entries, and I'm going to figure out a random number between 1 and 22, and whoever it lands on
Oh,
that's
you are a baby, Sam.
all right. So here
Sorry.
we go. Pick a number between 1 and 22. And the Google randomizer says 11. So that's that. Well, what do you know? Our winner tonight is Jeff Spar. So congratulations, Jeff.
Oh, it's rigged. Rigged.
No.
Sorry. Nah.
So Jeff is the winner tonight. Congratulations. And yes, and B. Williams, Brittany, thank you very much once again for joining us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me. I've had a great time. I'm sorry I talked so much.
no, please don't. This is your time. It's your that's why you're here. You know, I let you talk because the show is about you. It's not the Brian Scala show. So
It should be. It should always be Brian's show.
well, thank you. I'll
I
have
love you
my
too, Katie.
I do get around a little bit. Actually, now that you mention it, next Wednesday I'm going to be on. I believe it's book talk with Celtic Blue for you. So that'll be, I think it's 7 p.m. Central.
Nice. I gotta be better about getting on these. It's just you hold them as I'm like trying to get the tot into bed.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because 8 o'clock is bedtime. So yeah.
It's 7 my time, so right about that time is when we're getting out, bath time, and
Gotcha.
unfortunately, which we're actually, like I said, we're on vacation right now. So
Yes, and yeah, we'll let you get back to winding down in just a minute. So just very briefly, want to tell all of you that we are going to have Caitlin Brooke on next week. Caitlin, you've seen Caitlin Brooke. She was at Books and Bourbon Spooky Soiree this past year. She's been at Sinful. She's among the Burning, among the Hunted, Crimson Crisp. She is a multi-genre author, and she writes a lot of things. She does not sponsor Sonic like B. Williams, but as far as I know, but
there's gonna be something horrible about Sonic come out tomorrow.
I have nothing bad to say. At least but
some news headline comes out, just don't hit me up, okay? I don't want to know.
So, oh no, they don't have Sonic in Maine apparently.
Yeah, go sign up to Arc Read, by the way. Hit me up. Sign up to Arc Read, please. I promise it'll be fun. It'll be so much fun. It's urban fantasy, paranormal romance, a psychic detective, a werewolf. Come on. I'll stop it.
Yes. So
hit me up.
Yeah, and so just as a reminder to everybody, this is going to be on YouTube. I can probably upload this tonight, so check. You can check back in before you go to bed. And yes, just briefly before we close up shop here, the Friday Night Rights anthology is coming out in July. It's called "See Me as I Am." We have we had an interest form. If anybody missed the cutoff and they really want to get in on that, I think the interest form is still live on our link tree, so you can get in there if you want. But for those of you who have already submitted, submissions are being accepted through the end of March, and we are going to have a cover reveal sometime in April, and we're going to have the whole thing out in July. And the theme is invisible and overlooked illnesses, whether mental, physical, emotional, any type of ailment that the average person would not see. It's people who like you find somebody and they're suffering from something, and you're thinking, well, you don't look sick. Well, a lot of people don't portray what they're really going through, and that is what we're writing about with the anthology. It's called "See Me as I Am," and all. If you want to be on the show, we're booking through the end of December. I think we have a couple dates left in December, and then we're into 2026 already. Do you believe that? It's not even. I know we had such an influx of people who were interested in being on, and we just put them on one by one. So everything's in our link tree. Friday Night Rights, and I think that's all I have. Uh, if anybody has any questions before we go, let me see. I think let me just check one more time before we bid you all adieu. I'm waiting for Katie to. When are
Well,
arcs
you're
going
here.
out? Katie, one more time. When are arcs going out for?
Oh, April. Sorry, it comes out April 1st. So I'll go out early March, Katie. I've got to finish doing that second editing pass to make sure I've got everything cleared up. So, and then they will go out for Moss and Wolf.
Nice.
So,
No bones about it.
how pretty that is.
That
You
is a very
want
nice
it.
cover. So that is coming real soon.
Oh, so it's written by B. Williams on practically everything. I'm gonna put it down in the chat for you too. TikTok, Insta, Threads. Thank you, Sam. My cover artist is fantastic. So the cover artist that did this one did my typography on this one. I had an artist do the art, and then she did the typography, and then she did the designs for my hardcover. So this is the hardcover for the retrofit, and then she did the design for Thin Ice as well. So she is so good. It's my main artist is Michelle Hermes. She's on Facebook. She does all of the character art, and then Gabriella Regina, who is on Etsy. She's under GR Book Covers. So great. She has really cheap premates. I love her. I have some,
Yes.
Katie. Just let me know. I'll
Awesome.
give you a discount for because I love you. You're the best.
Thank you. Well, all
Thank you,
right.
Jeff.
Yes. So everybody, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and again, thank you to B. Williams, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again. Have a great night.